Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Night 7 and 8 of the G1 Climax, and Night 7 was just so good, I don't even want to waste any time getting into it. Match number 1, we have Will Ospreay versus the Great Okan, and this was an amazing sprint between two United Empire teammates. Okan has really impressed me this G1 with that big man style. I think he works so much better than someone we'll talk about later in the video, Hikuleo. And when you're put up against Will, who is just an amazing seller, you're going to look good no matter what. So throughout this match, Okan just wouldn't let up. He was hitting Will with chairs and spraying with mist, which led to a great near fall. And I love how it showed how Okan knew how hard it was to beat Will from his time with him in, United Empire and stuff like that. And he just had to pull out all the stops to even get close. And the dude was flying over the top rope, hitting moonsaults and shit. Like, that was dope as hell. Ospreay looked as good as ever here. I'm so excited for that Okada match. They are both at the top of their games. We're going to talk about Okada later, and yeah, they're both at the top of their games. But aside from that, this is a really fun match. Okan has looked really good this G1. Will is Will. He's always going to be good. And yeah, this is a great opener for Night 7. Shota Umino versus Gabe Kidd, and this match was incredible. We start off with Gabe Kidd absolutely flying, full dead sprinting, 100-yard dashing to go attack Shota during his entrance. And like I said last time, Gabe Kidd is going to give you some crispy-ass chops, and he's going to give you some crispy-ass fuck yous. And he did both of those things within the first minute of the match. So yeah, I'm right on that one. I love the overarching story of this match. Gabe Kidd hit Shota with a brainbuster on the apron that Shota sold so well with this really blank, wide-eyed stare that I laughed really hard at. And it put over how Gabe Kidd just hurt Shota's neck. And he would get these little moments of adrenaline throughout the match, and he would just go crazy, and it would wear off. And then when it would wear off, it would give Kidd an opening to attack again. And I think that works so well to put over Shota's fighting spirit, which is obviously, I think, the best part of him right now. Another thing that put over that fighting spirit was how good Gabe is at working the crowd. He was always flipping them off, always talking to them. In this match, he grabbed a Shota flag, put it between his legs, he spit on it, and he stomped on it. And in every match, he always gets the crowd to turn on him, and it makes his opponents look so good, which is just a testament to how good Gabe is. Gabe has this Jay White level of ring talking. He's always talking shit. There is not a moment he's not. And I'm praising Gabe a lot here because he's become one of my favorites to watch this G1. Just his shots, his moveset is always so good. It always hits so hard. I think he might be the hardest hitter in this G1. It always sounds like, your heart will stop when he chops you. He does such good heel shit. Like, in this match, he did a top rope hanging headlock that made him look like an absolute killer. And that was one of my favorite spots of the whole match. It looked insane. Eventually, how I mentioned that adrenaline, it kicked in, and Shota was able to pull off a Death Rider, which gave him the win. And I don't think any of these young guys in Block A have missed. They've all been good. I've enjoyed all their matches, especially these two. So when you put them together and get them in one of these matches, it's always going to turn out well. I want to mention as well how Shota went up to a fan after the match and gave him his little bracelet, and that's just pure babyface shit. He's the man. He's going to be a main eventer one day. This match was incredible. I loved it so much. This next match was certainly a match that happened during Night 7 of the G1 Climax 33, and I can't even be mad at it because it was pretty funny. Kenta was just being his unserious self. He was doing the bass to Tai Chi's song right next to him back to back. He was comparing his belt with his that lasted a bit too long but was funny for initially. He even ripped off Tai Chi's pants. How could you do that to another man, especially Tai Chi, who makes it a big spectacle? How could you do that, Kenta? You're an absolute insane person. But yeah, it was all pretty entertaining overall. It also seemed like everybody wanted to attack the refs tonight. We're only 3 matches in, and it felt like everybody was kicking the refs' ass. This happened again, and Kenta was able to hit Tai Chi with the belt and in the nuts. But yeah, this was pretty harmless. It was entertaining, but it's not going to be rated too high just because it was kind of like a nothing match, to be honest. But yeah, it was pretty entertaining to watch. I didn't hate it. Holy shit, guys. You're not going to believe it. Match number 4, this is the first not shit Chase Owens match. I know, that's insane. You would have never thought it, but you should have thought it because it's against one of these Musketeers, and they are really fucking good. Yoda honestly gave Chase a lot in this match. He was on the back foot for a lot of it until the end where he seemingly learned how to counter Owens. Yeah, I would have liked him to have a little bit more control over the match, but commentary did a really good job of selling it by kind of saying he needs some time to adjust to the New Japan style after being on excursion for so long. And yeah, that kind of sold me on it more than what I was, because I was not happy with it, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I understand. This was good, and that's about all you can ask for. This was good, and that's new and exciting for Chase Owens. He made Yoda look really good during the closing stretch of this match and during the whole match, honestly. And that's about all you can ask for from Chase Owens nowadays. Yeah, this was fine. This was good, which was new and exciting for Chase Owens, honestly. But I'm glad he didn't win. He gave Yoda a lot. He made him look really good too. This was actually a good match, which is new and exciting for Chase Owens. But I'm so fucking glad he didn't win. He did his part to make Yoda look really good too, and that's about all you can ask for. It was good work from both guys. El Phantasmo versus Tungaloa. This match was pretty good. ELP took his shirt off to start the match, and he was kind of getting the crowd to chant Lois so that Tonga would take his off, and they made it a big show, which I found really entertaining. And honestly, ELP has done so much good work to become a crowd favorite, and honestly, how could you not love him after the promo he cut about his grandfather passing away? That was so heartbreaking, and it really like moved me, honestly. Like, I've never experienced that, but it really made me feel really sad for him, honestly, and condolences to him and his family, because that's absolutely brutal. ELP has become one of those guys that I'm going to follow and support after the G1, just for him, but also for his in-ring work. He did an insane jump from the crowd onto Loa, which looked crazy. He did a Swanton Lion Salt combination that always looks clean. I know he's done it before, but it looked really good. His selling, it's just as good. He's like kind of Will level of selling, where he always makes his opponent look so good. He's just been consistently been great this G1 and become someone I've really become fond of. This is another one of those matches where I've given somebody a lot of praise, but I don't want it to seem like Tonga didn't put in his work, because he did a good job and he held up his end of the match to make this a sneaky good one that I think people should go watch, just because it's fun. It's nothing crazy, but it's a good watch. Hikuleo versus Ren Narita, and honestly, I like the story overall with Narita not being able to handle Hikuleo's size, just not being experienced enough to know how to deal with it. He would go for something he would usually do, and it just wouldn't work because Hikuleo is just too damn big. And honestly, I get it. It works for one of these young guys, but I'm not too sure I would have had Hikuleo go over in this one just because I'm a huge fan of the Musketeers, but even then, I'm still not sure about it. I'm not sure about it, but I do think that this is leading up to Narita upsetting SANADA, which all credit to Keem Wins Again on Twitter. He created that, and I've just become more and more fond of that idea because I think that would go over crazy, especially with how this night is going to end with SANADA. It's going to be damn good if that happens. Narita did look good here. He did a counter from a chokeslam into an armbar where it was just so fluid. There wasn't a single bit of wasted motion, and it looked incredible. Yeah, overall, this was just all right, just because I find Hikuleo pretty uninteresting and basic. But Narita looked great, and there's only so much you can do as Narita just to kind of salvage a pretty basic wrestler in Hikuleo. But this was all right. Nothing crazy at all. Kazuchika Okada versus Yoshihashi. This was an incredible match. They've both been on incredible runs this G1, and they just kept that going. Throughout this match, they were teasing again and again that Yoshi would steal one. So many counters and huge moves that just like Okada sold so well. I can't even name just one. Like, I can't give you an example because there were so many, like, oh, can he get it this time? Can he get it this time? But honestly, it worked so well every time they did it, and I enjoyed it every time. I really enjoyed Okada starting out very cocky and arrogant like he has been this entire G1. And, he was kind of treating it like just another one of his basic G1 matches. But once Yoshi hit him with like one big move and after another, he kind of activated and was like, oh shit, I could lose. And once he got going, and it was all over at that point. There's not even one thing I can focus on during this match because it was all really good. This is one of those matches everyone should go out of their way to see. And I'll mention again, I'm so excited for that Ospreay match. I said that Ospreay's at the peak of his powers, and Okada is too. That match has the potential to be absolutely legendary. But yeah, you should definitely watch this one if you haven't. It's an absolute banger. SANADA versus Kaito Kiyomiya. I love this match. Like everyone else, I love the finish, but we're going to get to it towards the end. They started off really quick. They were working a lot of these chain wrestling sequences that just look fantastic because that's what these two guys are really good at. The first 10 minutes of this match absolutely flew by. It was mainly focused on Kaito working over SANADA, just being that young guy that just is getting the better, kind of coming out of the gates, fiery. And I love what he was doing with the armbar. Every time SANADA would try to break it, he would easily transition right back to it. SANADA even went to the top rope and jumped off of it just to try to break the hold, and Kaido just wouldn't let go. It was so smooth. He also did this dive to the outside that looked just as good as that armbar, and it took some crazy agility, and it was insane. SANADA just worked really hard to make Kaido look good, and Kaido looked really good because of it, and just because he's good in general. So the first 10 minutes of this match were focused on the arm, and the next 10 minutes of the match were focused on the knee of SANADA, where Kaido would go to try to set up that figure four, which he pulled out last match against Shota, but this time he was not letting go. By no means was he letting go. He didn't let go of that armbar. He didn't let go of that figure four because he learned from the last match if he lets him go, he might not win, and I think that was great. It was a really good way of just telling how he matured over the space of one match. But as soon as SANADA heard that 15-minute call, he did everything he could to get to that rope. He used all of his strength, and I love that because it really showed that champion's desperation just to not lose to one of these young guys. SANADA's been doing that a lot lately, and I love it every single time. Just like, I'm not losing one of these youngins. No. I think SANADA did a much better job than Shota of selling that knee after the fact. He was kind of hobbling around, and it made it look even better, but this match gave an insane boost in the last 5 minutes. I said it before, but it's an absolute cheat code, that 20-minute time limit. I love that change. I've never seen a G1 match that has 30 minutes, but I don't know if I would have liked the G1 as much as I do now with this 20 minutes. The crowd gets so into it. They were going crazy. This was easily the best finish of those, last second ones. He was just doing everything he could to not lose to Kaido. SANADA was giving it his all. He eventually hit the Shining Wizard with 2 seconds left on the clock, and that was incredible. I went crazy. The crowd went crazy. It added so much to the result of this match, and to the match as a whole, honestly. I said in my review of the SANADA and Yoda-Tsuji match that was the moment that SANADA should awaken and give a really good G1 run. Like, that should be the moment where it starts. And I think I might have been right, because this was insanely good. This really showed me why they made him the champion. I'm finally being moved by his matches and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying his last couple ones, and I hope he continues it through the rest of this run, because I just love seeing guys prove it. I just love when, a guy has all these expectations and he has all these people that are doubting him, and then he just proves them all wrong. I want to see that from him. I hope he keeps it going. These young guys are insanely good. I've loved all their matches. This was another one in that. It was just so good. Night 7 at its best was absolutely insane. The crowd was so hot all night, which is really good compared to that Night 6 crowd that was just only clapping. Commentary was so much more enjoyable with 2 people on the headset. Kevin Kelly is fine on his own, but when he has that second guy, it just works so much better, no matter who you are, honestly. There were some banger match of the tournament contenders, as you can see on the side here. Very deserving of those ratings, and definitely going to keep some of these in contention when I make that list at the end. I just hope, unlike Night 6 following up Night 5, that Night 8 follows this one up so much better, but we're going to see, and we're just going to go right into it right now. And we're back with some Night 8 action, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it with Evil versus Hanare. We couldn't even get past the entrance of this match without some Dick Togo garbage. That shit is just trash. I don't know why we do it every time. It is so annoying. I also don't know why Evil has won so many matches. Why have we been cursed with seeing that? That is just not good. I don't know why they've decided to do that. Hanare looked good. He's always going to look good. But, I mean, come on, man. Evil is just so fucking boring, and I just want to move on right away. I know we just got into Night 8 too, but I just want to move on so fast. I don't even know what to say anymore when it comes to Evil matches. Alex Coughlin versus Hiroki Goto. A shorter match with a very simple story. Alex Coughlin is a killer, and Hiroki Goto had some fucked up ribs, and so Coughlin just attacked it. And unlike the last match that Goto was in, he couldn't steal another win because Coughlin is just so tough, and he eventually just couldn't kick out when Coughlin hit him with a jackhammer. Goto sold the ribs very well, and I thought Coughlin's offense did a really good job of just attacking it. And like I said, it was a really simple match. It didn't really tell a grand story or anything like that, but it was a good story, and it worked, and this was a very solid one. Mikey Nichols versus Shingo Takagi. Mikey Nichols is on one this G1. These sneaky matches he's been putting out has just been so dope, and this was just a slugfest, which is just the C block to a T. Mikey Nichols is someone who at first glance you wouldn't think would hit that hard, but he is just so incredibly strong. With the way he held up Shingo for that long in the air with that frame is just insane. It just shows an insane amount of power from him. You wouldn't expect that, but he really does have it in him. Something else I want to point out was the way Shingo bounced off the ring when they hit that superplex, and that was just so nasty. Something else that was also nasty was Mikey Nichols busting himself open the hard way again with more headbutts. The dude is on a speed run to a concussion. I don't know what he's on this G1, but he loves just headbutting people as hard as he can, just straight up. What really held this match back was just the last closing bit where there was a very awkward Death Valley driver that just didn't look very good. That eventually leading to a very awkward finish where Shingo just kind of sat on Mikey. It was very odd to say the least, but it was just a classic C block match, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I really don't have much to say about this one except that I'm glad that Tanahashi kind of made Yano a little bit more serious. Like, hey, this is G1, bro. Like, turn it up. But yeah, it's a whatever Yano match, and I'm glad Tana won. Now this one, Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii, I do have a lot to say. This was real music. This was absolutely incredible. This was the true embodiment of strong style. This match was incredibly hard hitting. I've obviously said that about other G1 matches, but alongside the chops that Eddie gives out, they just stand out among the rest as particularly just so good. And on another level from everyone else. I absolutely love the way that Eddie sold his lower back in this match, just trying his absolute hardest to will his body to go harder and not give up, but it just would give out on him every time. And it really puts over that fighting spirit that makes Eddie Kingston so great, and that's the reason why these New Japan fans have just taken so much of a liking to him. I mean, the dude was getting his name chanted throughout Korakuen Hall, and that must feel like just a dream come true for him. It's so dope. The time absolutely flew by in this match. It didn't feel for a second like it was a 16-minute match because these two were just non-stop. The near falls towards the end where they were just trading pins and just barely kicking out, it made this feel absolutely otherworldly. Eddie simply just wouldn't give up during this match, just kind of willing his body to continue on and on despite all the punishment. And it was honestly pissing Ishii off that he wouldn't give up, but eventually he forced him to with a vertical drop brainbuster that was built to so well throughout the match, just with these guys that, like, if you get dropped on your head, you're not getting up, and after all they've been through, I thought it was a great finish. These two are just so amazing together, just both older veterans that no matter what, they just won't give it up. And what made this match so great, like pushed it up to that next level, was honestly the crowd, because they were going the loudest I've ever heard them throughout this G1 so far, and it made this match feel so incredibly big time, and it made it just pretty easily the match of the G1 so far for me personally. Eddie Kingston just truly looks like he's having the time of his life in Japan, and I love to see it as a big Eddie Kingston fan. I hope he continues this run because it's been absolutely incredible, and Ishii's just going to give you a very solid match every single time. This one was so good. It's easily my match of the G1, like I said. Yeah, incredible stuff. Wow, just what an insane surprise coming out of this match. Haste coming out and pitting Naito clean. What a moment for him, but this match was awesome. It was all built on the back of a Naito neckbreaker on the guardrail, which turned to just him working over the neck all match, and that was some great looking offense from Naito, and it was sold so well from Haste, so that's easily going to give you a foundation that's just very solid. I think anyone that was questioning Shane's placement of the G1 was kind of just shown here why he was in it. He kicked out a Destino, which is one thing, but then he countered it to give you the surprise win, which looked so smooth, by the way. Yeah, this was some good shit. Tama Tonga versus David Finlay. We started off with a brawl on the outside that commentary did a semi-good job with explaining. Basically, Finlay just killed Tama the last time they had a match, and Tama was really pissed about it. Yeah, aside from that, the brawl was good. It was pretty hilarious how Red Shoes called for the bell while they were on the outside, which pretty much has not happened at all throughout this G1, so I don't know, maybe the guy didn't really like the match, maybe he wasn't fucking with it. Who knows? Also, in the start of the match, Finlay just stole a chair out from under a woman, which, wow, that's some truly heel shit. What the fuck, man? That's just fucked up. Like, that's not even like a damn, you motherfucker, like any of that crazy. That's just fucked up. That's just not nice. I don't know what to say about that. Aside from all that, talking about the match itself, Finlay was mainly focused on working over the knee, and Tama just was so angry and filled with fire that he always kept going no matter how much punishment it took. I thought Finley did a really good job with the offense on the knee, but I don't think that Tama did a very good job of selling it. So yeah, I kind of felt the same way about the finish, that they were both just kind of lackluster. You know, they left a lot to be desired, honestly. Not just a little, they left a lot to be desired. Aside from the lackluster parts during the match, both these guys did their part, and they turned one that I wasn't really excited for into something that I enjoyed watching, so props to both of these two. Our main event, Jeff Cobb versus Zack Sabre Jr., and I've always enjoyed Zack Sabre. He's just so unique in the ring, and his charisma just takes that to the next level. But during this G1, Cobb has absolutely won me over. It took me so long, and so long of just feeling like he was just there and that he wasn't really anything special. But in his last two matches especially, he's shown me why he absolutely is. The start of this match began with both guys just seamlessly transitioning out of each other's moves, and that just kept up throughout the whole match. It's honestly what makes Zack Sabre so good, but I think Cobb did a wonderful job of it as well, kind of matching that pace that Zack Sabre was setting. Cobb does a great job of doing the immovable big man wall thing, but then he goes and does shit like flips and stuff that a man his size should not be able to do, and to be honest, it is just so sick. I can't even lie. It is so dope seeing a dude that size just flip around like it's nothing. I love Zack doing everything he could just to counter out of absolutely everything, but then just kind of getting caught and Cobb hitting with Tour of the Islands, which is a guaranteed win. I love that. He was as smooth as ever here doing all of that, and I mean, it looks so much better too when you're doing that against a dude the size of Cobb. Like, it just makes it look so much better. These two work really well together, and I really enjoyed this match. Like I said, Cobb has really turned it around after a kind of slow start to the G1 and has given me some really great performances, at least, like, given me. He's shown some really good performances and has moved me a lot, and he's kind of proving why he deserves to win as much as he's winning this G1. This was a great main event to close the show, and I really enjoyed it. I'm happy to report that unlike Night 6, Night 8 followed up an incredible show with another incredible show and gave us some matches on the side that I thought were wonderful, especially the clear match of the tournament, Eddie versus Ishii. I mean, come on, if you have even just that match following up, I think that's good enough, to be honest. I had a lot of fun watching these two nights, and it was definitely the best pair of nights that I've had to review so far, and I just really hope it continues. But aside from all that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video and comment down below what your favorite match was, maybe your star ratings, anything like that. But yeah, take care, everybody.